Jesus answered the scribes' and Pharisees' question with another question when they asked him for a sign that he is sent by God. They don't believe him when they see his healings and teachings. They want more proof. Jesus responds by asking them to interpret the times that they are in, that God's kingdom is in front of them. They can tell the weather by the direction of the winds, but they can't tell the kingdom when it comes to them. I went to LLCC, Lovelock Correctional Center, last Wednesday. It was a lonely trip. I go into prison for 6 hours to cover the 4 possible Episcopal chapel services. They have 4 services to reach each of the 4 groups of cell blocks that rotate between yard privileges, chapel, store, classroom, and so forth. This system was set up to isolate the cell blocks during the COVID epidemic. Now the rationale is that they do not have enough correctional officers to watch everybody. So they continue to isolate the cell blocks. There's no evening or weekend services currently allowed. Because most of the Episcopal guys have prison jobs, they can't take off during the week to come to chapel. So I have no one coming to the services. I can attend several Hispanic evangelical services which occur at the same time that the Episcopal services are scheduled, which I have done several times before, but this week I didn't attend the one service. When I drove up to LLCC several weeks ago, the prison was on lockdown and I couldn't go in. So I drove home, a 4-hour drive that accomplished nothing. The prison chaplain says that the chapel is supposed to be allowed even when there is a yard lockdown, but, it wasn't. This is a long lead-in to the question, can I interpret the present time? Is it time for me to stop going to LLCC? Do I shake the dust off my feet and move on? Do I try to fight the system and demand that they open a time at night or on the weekend so the men can attend a service? I get to this spot and I'm lost. What time is it? Where to go? What to do? What is this gospel telling me? Why doesn't Jesus answer the scribes and Pharisees directly? Is it because he has already told them and me what the answer is? I don't believe that the Gospels are roadmaps that will lead you directly to the right answer, how to live or react or interpret things, but they are holy love stories about people who have wrestled with God with the same questions that we have. In Matthew 6, 2-4, when the Pharisees asked Jesus for a sign, Jesus says that the only sign to be given is the sign of Jonah. Jonah, as we know, is a story of God's great compassion for a city that has gone wrong. God sends a reluctant prophet to these bad people. He is so reluctant that he tries to run away. God goes after him even to the bottom of the sea and the dark belly of a whale. God's compassion is that strong. God's compassion is the sign of Jonah. Jonah's sign to me is to do the most loving and compassionate thing I can in this situation and have faith that he will work it out even if I make a wrong decision. That means loving the man inside and myself as I try to live out who I am as a deacon, and loving those who have to administer the laws and keep us, the incarcerated men and the correction officers, safe. Jesus expresses the power of God's compassion when he says he brings fire to the earth. His desire for us to love, have compassion on ourselves and others is so strong that he is willing that our normal relationships be disrupted. Love is to rule all. Amen.